The reigning PSP World Champions, San Antonio X Factor, took third at the first event in Dallas. And though they lost to Vicious in the semifinals, they were one of the most entertaining teams to watch because they had numerous come-from-behind victories at the first event. X Factor stars were on fire at the last tournament. Archie Montemayor, currently the Top Gun leader, put in a performance to behold. His depth of paintball knowledge and low number of mistakes is what separates him from most of his peers. Colt Roberts had highlight reel run-throughs in almost every game, including a walk-off 5-kill run-through to be infamous in the prelims. Scott Kemp has done nothing but get better and better since mid-season last year and is becoming one of the best D-side players in the PSP. Grayson Goff and the rest of the best kids in Texas crew continues their consistent ways, and every way you break down X Factor, they look as strong as they did when they won the world title. They have all the weapons and the support that they need to stay at the top of the game. Tampa Bay Damage struggled in the prelims at the first event, losing 3 games and looking a bit lackluster. Damage ended up having to play in a tense relegation match against Houston Heat. They won that game, thanks in part to a great performance by Jason Edwards. But Damage has been one of the favorites at every PSP event in recent memory for a reason. They field one of the most potent lineups in the game. Considering the team is mostly unchanged since they won the 4th event last year, they will still be a favorite here at the Mid-Atlantic Open. They boast strength and versatility in every position. They have a strong snakeside push with Brian Smith, Keith Brown, and Timmy Probst. A top-level attack on the D side with Jacob Edwards and Chad Boucher, and new pickup Dalton Vanderbilt. And they have one of the best back players in the past 10 years, Jason Edwards. Core members Dan Holiday and Rumzi Al-Yusuf should be back in the lineup after missing the first event. For opposing teams, it's tough to scout Damage because they adjust their playing style to suit their opposition and throw different looks with their deep roster of attackers on either side. But Damage should be out for blood after their 7th place finish in Dallas. So look for them to excel here at the Mid-Atlantic Open on this gunfight-heavy layout.
Hey guys, I'm down here with Grayson Goff from X Factor. They are getting ready to battle it out with Damage. Now, what do you guys need to do to make sure you can dictate the pace of this game and kind of lock down the field to get those wins?
I mean, honestly, if we can get wide on these guys, but they're not shooting us off break, I mean, we're going to try to push it. Obviously, if we can't get wide, we're just going to match them, and then it's really just a shooter's game. Each team is waiting on to dink 1 or 2 guys out, then push the field. Let these zones open up.
When I was talking to some Damage players earlier, they were saying they felt like this was a good field for them. What did you see during their last match that you're going to take advantage of to try to score some points on them?
I mean, they stay in like the back 2 bunkers. So I mean, like I said, if we can get wide, we're going to try to push the issue. But other than that, I mean, really, we may just be matching them and just duking it out like that. So.
Were there any other mistakes you guys feel you made during that match against 187 that you're going to try to avoid?
Yeah, I mean, it was just a lack of communication, but we're going to work on it.
All right, we'll see who gets his first point.
All right, so welcome back here. 2014 Mid-Atlantic Open, Tampa Bay Damage, San Antonio X Factor. Big game because right now neither one of these teams has a win. Damage has a tie, and X Factor has a loss on Maddie Marshall alongside Nikki Cuba from Los Angeles Infamous, the winners from the first event. Here we go. Nikki, what do you think about this matchup?
I mean, you're going to see a lot of this. It's 5 up, 2 quality teams that have, been fighting in this division for a long time. Got a lot of seasoned veterans on both sides. And, X Factor coming off their win last year at World Cup. Damage, just a consistent team, except for, that last event in Dallas where they took 7th. And, we're going to see who's coming to play.
And that's the question. That's the whole reason I love watching the game, man.
Yeah.
We know the stories behind these teams. X Factor won the World Cup. Damage underperformed at the first event. And also towards the end of last year, they got knocked out at World Cup. And so really these 2 teams that have both won tournaments, both won championships, 2 of the best teams in the world. And you can pretty much say that about almost every single team in the Champions Division. But I love watching it because, like you said, Nikki, who's going to show up to play?
Exactly. Who's going to execute? Who's going to, bring their A game? And, we've seen what X Factor did against 187. That wasn't their A game. They were playing on their heels. They let 187 back in the game. And Damage, it was a back-and-forth battle. But they went to an overtime point where it was a draw.
Yeah. And so right now these 2 teams drawn out so far. 5 players alive for both of these squads. On the field for Damage right now, Rumzi Al-Yusuf, Brian Smith, Timmy Probst, Jacob Edwards, and Dalton Vanderbilt. It's interesting because you know who the team feels is playing the best by the first squad they put out, the starting 5. Now, a lot of these teams have 2 lines, like Infamous, for instance, has 2 lines. But you're going to want to put the squad you feel has the best chance of stealing that early momentum out there to start out the point. and start the game. And for San Antonio X Factor, it's Dixon Yang, Colt Roberts, Scott Kemp, Archie Montemayor, and Billy Bernaccia.
Yeah, and, on the flip side, you got, Dalton, you got Al Yusuf, Brian Smith, and then you're looking at Timmy Props and Jacob Edwards. Okay? Is that their best squad? I mean, they got a lot of depth.
That's a tough call. That's a tough call, actually, because, Jason Edwards isn't out there.
Exactly.
And he was the reason they won that relegation game at the last event.
He played huge.
Yeah, had a 5-pack at the very last point.
And, it's maybe right now, Kevin Breathauer, the coach of Damage, is trying to figure out, hey, do I get these other guys spins early so that they get, that feel out there and they get comfortable?
Well, it looks like San Antonio X Factor now losing bodies. They dropped Scott Kemp and Archie Montemayor, Brian Smith in really good field position. And you're looking at the lineup for Tampa Bay Damage on the D side right there. And you can look at the body language. They're standing up. They got tons of pods at their feet. They've already been rolling their guns. And now they want to start making moves. They have a 2-body advantage, and you can tell. And here comes the move up the center.
Jacob Edwards wrapping that bunker, applying pressure, and he has the opportunity right now.
Yeah, he shot Dixon Yang, and now here comes Tampa Bay
Billy
Damage.
Bernaccia getting a penalty, and that was a well-deserved penalty as Jacob Edwards shot him and then pointed at it and then started getting shot at from the person that he just shot.
Yeah, it was a smart move. Colt Roberts, as soon as he saw he was being pulled on a penalty, he sprints as quick as he can through the bog to get back into the penalty box, so that they have a player in there to start that minor, because every second that ticks off is a good thing. However, minors do come off, so the biggest thing is just get in the box. If you have a minor, you got to get in the box. You have to beat the other team's flag runner into the box because minors come off. So as long as you make it into the box, then you're good to go. That penalty will come off. Majors, however, they stay on the clock the entire time. So 16-14 left to go here in this matchup. 1-0 is the score. Let's check out this replay here. So you're looking at this replay. It's Billy Bernaccia and Colt Roberts, and this is so Billy there, right-hand portion of your screen.
And you see the ref calling him out right there, and he's still shooting his gun. I mean, he got lucky right there with only getting a minor. Very lucky.
Yeah, and I've noticed the tone change slightly, and I think it's a good thing, is that, the majors and the minors, it may not seem like a big difference, but that major penalty is really tough to fight through sometimes.
Oh, it is.
But I would say on this layout, not as hard as, say, the Dallas layout, which was a faster playing as far as the points are concerned. So still, it's a tough when you get a major, but you're right. That could have been a major, could have gone either way. Anyway, right now, score 1-0 in favor of Tampa Bay Damage, playing San Antonio X Factor. We're looking in the San Antonio X Factor pits, and we will be right back after a few commercial messages. San Antonio X Factor's next line getting ready to roll. Archie Montemayor, Colt Roberts, Alex Martinez, the oldest rostered player in the league in the professional division, Michael Kovar and Grayson Goff. That's a straight old school OG X Factor lineup right there, Nikki.
Yeah, it is. And it's breaking out against Jacob Edwards, Timmy Props, Daniel Holiday, Jason Edwards, and Keith Brown.
Oh, and Holiday takes one right in the face immediately after getting to his bunker. So the first strike goes to X Factor, but they lose Colt Roberts. So it's 4-on-4 right now. Better field position for San Antonio X Factor as they have a player up the center of the field. It's Grayson Goff.
Yep, and he's cutting down that Dorito side right now, trying to control Jacob Edwards, who made it out to Dorito 1. And, right now, Grayson needs to look for that move up to that A and really lock down that side. He has that opportunity right now because there's no one in that side of the field on that D side corner that's stopping him from making that move.
Yeah, and so doubling up that back center, Tampa Bay Damage, the most conservative team in the league. As we saw in that first game, Nikki, they really kind of got stuck in the pocket a little too much. And that's not a bad play. The pocket play is a smart move. It's definitely as far as taking risks is the least scariest option that you have. But you got to get out wide. Tampa Bay Damage has been able to do that now. Moved out a little bit, no longer doubling it up. You can see now 4 players across the field, the 4 bodies left alive for them. Then on the flip side, there's Archie Montemayor, who is actually the current Top Gun leader, man, Archie puts up stats. That guy is a killer.
He is, and he's just come into his own in the past 2 years. What's interesting to see is that when Damage was going against Vicious, it was the pocket play. Now that they're going against X Factor, they're spreading the field, and I think that's just that X Factor is not hitting their shots on the break.
Yeah, you know, if you know,
I know it's only 2 points,
but you're right though. You know, and it's tough because you know that off the break shot. You're one of those guys. You got to whip your gun around. We talked about that last game about what that mentality's like. And in case people weren't tuning in, what is going through your mind when you have to whip that gun around, particularly in the start of the game? You know, you haven't even necessarily got warmed up yet.
Oh, you're just visualizing all those reps that you did for the past 2-3 weeks of practice, grinding against, you know, other teams, grinding against your own team, doing drills on that shot that you have to do for your team. And so when you get in that start gate and the game is about to start, you know that. You know exactly where that ball's going.
How much of an audible comes into that depending on who's playing that point for your opposition? So if you look over and see it's Keith Brown or, you know, if it's Chad Boussier, whoever, I mean, do you change your lineup, or I'm sorry, do you change your shot depending on who you feel is going to be running to what spot?
Well, what's great about, you know, our sport is, you know, you got so many options, all right? These guys, the ones have about 3 different options. They could go, you know, up front, they could spread the field to the corner, or they could go short, okay? And the audible that you read is their body language, how they're set up. Are they in a 3-point stance?
Good point.
The good players don't let you read them, okay? Good players can start the same way all the time. And that's what you're reading. Like, we could look underneath the A and we see where they're stacking the 3 bodies, where, you know, the guns are, how they're set up. And, you know, we're seeing X Factor. Archie Montemayor is just disgusted with his own move because it was lazy.
Well, but Nikki, interesting thing was that it looked at X Factor got a couple kills, then Damage gets a couple kills. So right now it's a 3-on-2 situation. Actually, it might be a 2-on-2 situation.
Yeah, it's Dorito side versus Snake side.
And these teams have spread the field. Yeah, exactly. Dorito side versus Snake side. Damage is in the Snake. They have Keith Brown all the way at the 50-yard line, and then backing him up is Jason Edwards. On the flip side, you have Alex Martinez and Grayson Goff, but they're on the D side. Here comes Alex Martinez as he starting to march down that D side. No one's over there for him. So it's going to be up to, but I think Alex Martinez caught one from, I think, Jason Edwards. So now it's just Colt Roberts. Colt Roberts locked into a 1-on-2 right now.
Grayson Goff.
Oh, sorry, Grayson Goff.
Oh,
Grayson Goff shoots Keith Brown, who completely loses it on himself. So it's a 1-on-1 right now. Grayson Goff, and Grayson Goff wins a 2-on-1.
And that is huge momentum swing. That's getting your team pumped up right now.
Oh, Grayson Goff is just masterful out there sometimes.
Yeah.
What an amazing job. You know, he used to knock me because he'd always be like, man, you know, talking about Archie and Colt, and I'm just the guy that everyone likes to party with. But
he is a good partier.
He's kind of good at everything, man. Grayson's a great guy. You can talk to him. He's a really nice, likable guy, intelligent guy. But just, you know what, though? He's really because Grayson was kind of one of those guys when X Factor was that mid-level boss status. He wasn't playing his best paintball, but he really, the past couple years is just, the past 2 years has been like, you know what? Guess what? I am one of the best players.
I think it's because he's playing so much, and he's going into Europe and playing, you know, as much as he can. He's practicing more, and you know, you could see his level of play is rising to the occasion, and you could see in that 2-on-1, he's stunning. That was huge. You know, just a huge brain fart by Jason and Keith, not communicating and taking it slow, relaxing. Keith could have crawled the Snake and blocked him out and crawled onto their side of the field.
Yeah, but it didn't happen, and Grayson Goff's the hero in that point. Now we got ourselves a tie game with 11 minutes and 48 seconds to go. We're going to be right back after this.
We all know what it's like. Trying to keep a complete set of Allen keys is near impossible in the paintball world. The Vanquish system makes it easy. You only need one for everything. One key, one gun, one company. My name is Nicky Cuba. I play for Team Infamous, and the Vanquish brings my game to another level.
So we are heading here towards the end of competition. First day of the tournament, 2014 PSP Mid-Atlantic Open. I'm Matty Marshall with Nicky Cuba. from Los Angeles Infamous. And man, Grayson Goff really stepped it up that last point, winning that 1-on-2. Just amazing performance by him. And right now, Tampa Bay Damage and X Factor tied up at 1 apiece. Looks like
5 alive for both sides.
But X Factor spreading the field. They're able to get out wide on that D side of the field, and here comes Tampa Bay Damage. So, Nicky, look at this, though. Tampa Bay Damage is starting to get out of that pocket a lot better than they did in that first game.
And I think it's because of X Factor not hitting their shots on the break.
Yeah, that could be it.
You know, that's what it is. Because they're able to spread the field. When they were going against Vicious, they were getting blown up, so they had to bring it in and slow it down and play pocket ball. But they were able to adapt. Unlike 187 in the previous game, they just kept on running in the guns. And we're looking at a red flag going to Scott Kemp, and that's going to be huge.
Scotty Kemp, one of the most awesome success stories of the past year, played so well for them at World Cup, and now getting a major penalty. We don't really see Scotty get too many penalties.
No. Scott is, a talented player. He's gotten so much better in the past couple of years.
Well, he's the 4th ranked player overall right now.
Yeah, Billy Bernacci getting a sweet shot on Jason Edwards, and they're weathering the storm. Right now, what they want to do is run the clock, get their other player back out there so it could be a 4-on-4 situation. And, it's a tie game right now. We're at 10 minutes. They got to burn 1 minute and 25 seconds off the clock. But, Holiday knows that. So does the rest of the Damage. And Holiday's applying pressure on the Snake right now. What they need is Dalton to apply pressure down that Dorito side. But smart moves.
Yes, this field is all about smart moves, man. This field is a complicated, difficult field to play. This is probably one of the more difficult layouts we've had in the past couple years. Much more difficult than the Dallas one. The Dallas one was a straight wild-style trench warfare field. You saw lots of crazy run-throughs. This one is a much more tactical battle, but it's been an entertaining tactical battle because these games have been so close. There's only been a couple games that got, one team ran away with it. Impact beat up on Crew, and Dynasty beat up on Art Chaos. That's it. Other than that, all the games have been relatively close. The other one was a little far apart. Was the X Factor 187 Crew game.
Daniel Holiday just wrapping that bunker, applying pressure to Billy Bernacci, and got him on that snapshot. And now no one's looking at Daniel, and now he's getting, all this real estate. He's got full control. He's about to get a 2-piece.
Yeah, Dan Holiday, who was not at the first event due to his wedding. That's a good reason to miss the tournament. I think everyone's dead. Yeah, everyone is dead for X Factor. No one left alive.
They're letting the guy come out of the box.
Yeah, smart move. So Archie Montemayor is going to come out and just get obliterated.
What was kind of crazy right there was Daniel was walking around like the game was over, and there was still a guy in that Dorito corner shooting at him, and Brian Smith got the shot on him to save him.
Well, a good thing for X Factor is that they were able to burn that penalty off.
Yeah, now they're coming back 5 alive, and it's only a 1-point difference. They're going to get that extra gun up.
Yeah, so the score is going to be Tampa Bay Damage 2 and X Factor 1. 8 minutes and 40 seconds remain here. Who's going to win this match? We're going to find out. We'll be right back. So right now, Tampa Bay Damage is up by 1 over San Antonio X Factor. Last game of the day will be coming up after the conclusion of this match. It's going to be Omaha Vicious taking on Edmonton Impact. So Impact is right now sitting at 1-0 as they had a dominant win over, that's actually the worst blowout of the day, 6-1 over Upton 187 Crew.
Huge point spread.
Yeah, that's a giant point spread. And in these brackets, you're looking at these close games. I mean, Vicious and Damage tied. X Factor and Crew, that was a 2-5 game. And then, this game pretty close so far here, 2-1. And so Vicious Impact I think that's going to be a great match. I am impressed by Vicious. You know, they got all those penalties. They still were able to fight through it. And then not only that, but, you know, look, man, Nate Schrader and Alexander Borromeo, those kids can play the game.
They stepped up.
Yeah, they really did. So that's going to be scary, because if they can get Sherman and Rosenthal and Reeser to play the way that they did at the last event where they took second, Vicious could be cooking with some gas again.
Yeah, and they could bring it to Impact, you know, as long as they, you know, adapt, which I think Todd's such a great coach, and he could adapt to Impact's game plan.
So X Factor swamp side, Tampa Bay Damage on the left, and X Factor able to get 5 bodies out alive. And it looks like Tampa Bay Damage also 5 bodies alive. But look at this, though. Tampa Bay Damage spreading the field. Also, X Factor spreading the field. So
matched up.
Both
even.
of these teams, though, and you've been pointing this out, Nikki, but off the break shooting, not that crisp for both these teams. So we're seeing 5 alive.
Yeah, and that's you know, an interesting thing, because both these teams, you know, Damage known for it. X Factor at World Cup last year was known for it.
Yeah.
And you know, it's kind of been slipping away from both of them.
Well, you know, you're not going to hit 100% of those shots. You want to get as many as you can, and some guys are obviously better at it than others. You know, one of the reasons Travis Lemansky has had such a long career, you know, he's been playing pro since 1997, has stepped off the field now to coach your guys' team.
Yep.
But you guys, you know, he is so good at shooting people off the break.
I mean,
because he's, you know, 70% kill factor on off the break shooting, you're like, okay, well, let's let him spin out there.
Yeah, he was a dominant force in that. It was Arizona 2009.
Yeah.
And he had 53 reps and, you know, tons and tons of kills.
Yeah, so, you know, that off-the-break shooting is such a crucial factor always, and particularly now on this layout. You know, the off-the-break shooting was a little different at the Dallas Open because of the chaotic nature of the break. And there weren't really any back bunkers because you had to run and gun out to your spots. Now you can wheel your gun around them. Yeah, you still got to take a couple steps up. There's a little gun surgery happening over on the Tampa Bay Damage side of the field.
Dalton Vanderbilt hasn't been involved in this game since he made it to Dorito 1. You're looking at Grayson Goff making a move, and Colt Roberts applying pressure into Dorito 2, which is giving X Factor, you know, the real estate on the field. And, you know, right now, they just take their time. They got to wait for a kill or two. It's only a 1-point game, you know, 6:30 left on the clock. Dalton trying to spread the field. He did out to the Dorito corner, and he gets filled behind by Jacob Edwards filling in Dorito 1. So now they're going to have, you know, a little 2-man operation, what you need over there.
Well, how important is the 2-man squad teamwork on these sides of the field, Snake side and D side?
On the Dorito side, I think it's so much more crucial because you can then launch down the field when you're in Dorito 2 or Dorito 3 when you have your assistance from your back player. You know, you know that the corner guy isn't going to be able to get out, so to speak, and put it on you, and you could go down through the field, get kills cross field.
Yeah, and so little tiny bumps being made by both of these teams as they reposition. Better field position right now for San Antonio X Factor as they have Colt Roberts in D2. He's got a back player right behind him in Grayson Goff.
Yeah, he just filled that. And, you know, now they're going to have their 2-man operation. It's going to be matched up against Damage. And you're looking at, you know, an even match on the Snake side. And Michael Kovar walking off for X Factor. So it's a 5-on-4 situation, but still anyone's game.
Oh, absolutely, anyone's game. I mean, Damage has the lead right now, and when you see these long, I mean, okay, anytime you see a long point, points will actually get, okay, there's a couple factors that play into long points. 1, how many bodies drop off the break. 2, how many bodies then drop inner point. And then also, and then it can actually elongate even more depending on how much paint and air you got left.
Now you got a big move by Brian Smith spreading the field, getting into the Snake, but it's matched up by Meter.
But Nikki Cuba, Michael Kovar getting shot by Timmy Probst, so first blood in this point goes to Tampa Bay Damage, and that is not good for X Factor as we now break the 5-minute mark, and Tampa Bay Damage is up a point here. So, you know, I mean, we very well could see 4 minutes tick off the clock. I don't think it's going to happen, but you never really know, especially because, again, these guys they're starting to dump their last pods in here.
Yes, they are, and it's pod, you know, paint and air is a factor on this field. You got Colt Roberts pushing up the Dorito side. He's into Dorito 3 on the X Factor side, and you know, Brian Smith is holding him up right now, shooting inside from the Snake 2.
You know who hates to play conservative? Colt Roberts.
Oh,
Colt Roberts has now made his way into the 50-yard line on the D side of the field against 5 guns of Tampa Bay Damage. So Colt Roberts is in good position But Colt Roberts has yet to strike. No confirmed kills for Colt Roberts so far. Grayson Goff, the confirmed kill leader, as he had the only reason X Factor hasn't has a point is even in this game right now is because Grayson Goff stepped up and won that 2-on-1.
Yeah, and he did it, you know, with style. He handled business. He had, you know, his back against the wall, and it was a must-win, you know, because that point spread, you know, would have been at 3-0, and you know, it would be a way different game right now.
This game would be over if that was the case.
Yeah, because you'd see Damage do what they do well, lock down a field, old strange ball.
Yeah, for sure. You know, the evolution of the Tampa Bay Damage franchise did come from a dominant team coming out of Florida called Strange, like Nikki was just saying. And you know, that was an awesome team, and some of those guys still play. Like Timmy Probst was from Strange, still plays on this team. And it's really cool to see, you know, how well Tampa Bay Damage has been able to maintain that legacy throughout the years. The thing with Damage, though, is that, you know, Damage is at the point right now where they need well, I take that back. They did win the West Coast Open last year, so they did have a tournament win, but they didn't play as well as they wanted to in World Cup. I felt they had too defensive of game plans, and then came into the last event and finished 7th. They did win that relegation game to maintain their Champions Division spot, so this is a big tournament for them, I think.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and you're looking at players right now, too, like what we were talking about, the paint and air situation. I see Jacob Edwards checking out his air, seeing what he's got left, because, you know, he's shot pretty much his whole load in this game already.
Yeah, and there's Colt Roberts, Colt 45 on your screen right now. He is in the dominant field position.
He has no paint, he just realized. He was reaching for a pod. No paint, so he's got to be very conservative with his shots. It's got to be one ball, and it's got to be on target.
Hey, something's got to happen, though, man, because X Factor will lose this match if 2 minutes and 13 seconds tick off this clock here. And Damage, they have a player in the 50-yard line snake. Brian Smith is in a great spot right now. Brian Smith's got 2 confirmed, Jacob Edwards 2, Ramzi Al-Yusuf 3. I really love how Ramzi Al-Yusuf has become one of Damage's best players.
I think Grayson has to watch his head right now from the snake, from Brian Smith. He tucks in, and he's all right. I think the ball right now is for Demetrius Ninos to slip inside and get into the snake to apply pressure on this side, and maybe have Brian Smith try and run him and have his teammate shoot him as he comes, Todd Morrow.
There is no way that Colt Roberts is going to be alive when this game ends if X Factor is still down a point. He will die going forward. It's not going to happen. Dimitri Ninos, he's not in a great field position right now. He's way in the back. And right now you're looking at, this is the back line right now. And now Dimitri Ninos, like you said, that was a good call, Nikki. He has the ball. And what I was going to say is that Meter he's a very aggressive, naturally aggressive player.
Yes.
And I wouldn't think that he would still be alive either. And in his bunker, there's no way Meter's going to die or be alive in his spot when the game ends and they're still down a body.
Look, Dalton has no gun. He's just running through, just trying to, you know, cause chaos, and he does. And Jacob Edwards gets to shoot out Colt Roberts, but he also gets shot. And right before that, you've seen Dalton Vanderbilt hand him a pod so he could have paint to actually close out that game.
Wow, but they both get taken out. So maybe the door opens right now for San Antonio X Factor. They have Derek Jordan, Dimitri Ninos, and Grayson Goff still left alive, but they're looking at Brian Smith and Timmy Probst.
I don't think
they're going to be able to do it, man.
No, there's 30 seconds. Right now, it's too much, you know, time just sitting in their bunkers. They got to get going.
Meter, you got to make something happen, man. It doesn't matter. You're going to lose the game if you don't try to at least make a snapshot.
Oh,
and did he do it? I think Meter might have.
The ref's calling him out. He's taking his time.
He either
got to run the flag.
I think that was either Meter or it was
Todd Morrow.
Might have been Todd Morrow.
You can't do that. You can't stop.
You can't stop. You got to have your eye on the clock. There's not enough time. He could have grabbed that flag. And look at this, Todd Morrow. But it doesn't matter though. Todd Morrow on the run through. Dimitri Ninos, rookie mistake here. Dimitri Ninos, rookie mistake, man. You got to keep your eye on the clock. There's no reason for him not to be able to look at that clock and realize situational awareness is huge when you're playing in this division.
It's huge. It's everything that separates you from the lower divisions. You know, having your head on and being headstrong out there, knowing exactly what's going on, knowing the body count, knowing the time, knowing where everyone is.
And then so some of the younger players might be like, hey, well, I'm gonna counter with I had a gun on me. I don't care, make it happen. Put that guy in and do something, because you do not want that to happen. 2-1, the final score, the lowest scoring match of the tournament so far. X Factor taking their second loss. Wow, we'll be right back after this.
ready for an explosion of paintball videos? Then stay tuned to paintballaccess.com because the CXBL is back for their 10th anniversary season. Catch all the best pro talent north of the border as teams battle it out in full X-Ball matches. Paintballaccess.com, on the field, in the pits, behind the scenes.
Hey guys, I'm here with Jacob Edwards and Colt Roberts. Damage just won that one 2-1, but it was really close. Jacob, how are you feeling out there when you saw that the clock was ticking and they really had a chance to tie it up and go into overtime?
I mean, I was feeling good. We had 5 bodies alive. I think they had 4, and they had good positioning. I mean, I had a guy run to my bunker and switch out a tank with me. I had him throw me 4 pods. I mean, it was a hectic game, but I felt good the whole time.
Colt, you were at the 50 Dorito and you had no more pods. You were running out of paint. What is your best strategy? Is it inevitable that you're going to get shot, or is there anything you can do to try to get an advantage?
Well, they just so happened to have a couple guys that were zoned up on me. I was their immediate threat, and they knew that I was going to try and make a break, and they just had all the positions to stop me from doing that. So I was looking for it, just didn't see the seam.
All right, well, great game, guys. Damage won again against X Factor. Stay tuned. We'll have the last game coming up.